president is on 60 Minutes talking about crypto. That alone, I would not have thought we would be here. So, I mean, look, the journey that many of us have been on with the crypto industry has been long. It's had ups, it's had downs. Certainly the SEC lawsuit that the SEC suing Ripple was a painful part of that chapter for Ripple, and I really think for the industry because it was so important. But it is a much brighter day.
We are now joined by the man at the center of it all, hosting the gathering of financial leaders here, Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse. Brad, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's good to be here. Love having you guys here as well. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for having us here. We're at Ripple Swell. It is an invite-only event. Some of the top voices in TradFi and crypto here. For everyone who's watching at home, what do you hope they take away from this event, and what do you hope attendees leave with from the event?
I think that probably number one thing is the momentum and kind of the shift of almost tone that's happened. The excitement around crypto has been here for a while, but I think people still underestimate the consequence and the impact of the largest economy in the world, 22% of global GDP, has gone from being pretty anti-crypto, led by people like Senator Warren, but now because of the change in administration, because of the passage of the Genius Act, the passage of the Clarity Act in the House, not yet the Senate, it really, I think, changes the conversation significantly. And institutions that were afraid, that were on the sidelines, are now starting to lean in.
This year feels like the fast money versus slow money year, right? Where we had a lot of fast money momentum, to use your word, in Q2 and Q3. But the slow money's been consistently, engaged. You've announced M&A activity. You've had your valuation event overnight, which we'd love to hear more about. How do we make sure, to pile on to Jen's question, that news about how significant that slow process is gets out to the trading community and the markets, especially at times when the markets can feel a little vulnerable and tender?
Yeah. Look, I like your characterization around fast money and slow money in that. I think that the slow money has been slow, but it has been consistently engaged, waiting for those opportunities. Yeah. The Franklin Templetons, the Fortresses, the Citadels, as you described overnight, Ripple announced we had taken a $500 million investment led by Fortress and Citadel, but included Galaxy, Marshall Wace from the UK. And we're incredibly excited by having those kinds of institutions. For us, because we have a very strong balance sheet, it was less about the actual cash. It was more about aligning ourselves with some of the best thinkers, the most active participants in financial markets who are starting to and have not previously made significant moves in crypto and are now seeing the opportunity. And because, frankly, the government has provided some clear rules of the road, they can now lean in and participate in this market as well.
When you were embroiled in that battle with the SEC, did you think you'd be sitting here talking about how fast regulation is coming, or legislation is coming to the United States, a $500 million investment from firms like Citadel and Fortress? Did you think you would be here?
I'll give you a very honest and very recent answer to that. I just interviewed Patrick Witt from the White House on stage here, and as I was sitting there, I was the interviewer, which is a fun place for me to be versus the interviewee.
Much easier.
But I had a moment of thinking about, I remember he was talking about, the president had talked about making America the crypto capital of the world on 60 Minutes. And I remember thinking to myself as I was doing this interview, the fact that the president is on 60 Minutes talking about crypto, that alone, I would not have thought we would be here. So, look, the journey that many of us have been on with the crypto industry has been long. It's had ups, it's had downs. Certainly the SEC lawsuit that the SEC suing Ripple was a painful part of that chapter for Ripple, and I really think for the industry because it was so important. But it is a much brighter day. Yeah. And look, there's a lot of reasons for that, but a lot of it starts with a constructive engagement from the largest economy in the world. And I don't know why crypto ever had a partisan tone. It just doesn't make sense to me why it got partisan. So I don't think about it necessarily as Republican or Democrat. I think of it as being pro-progress, pro-American leadership around these important technologies.
Andy and I were talking about regulation here at the desk this morning. We're talking about how really critical it is for market structure to pass. I know there are some in the industry who don't agree that it's that critical, given the firms that are involved in crypto right now. Patrick Witt said on stage earlier that he hopes it passes by the end of the year. Do you think that's possible, given the fact that we're sitting here in November?
Possible, yes. Probable, I don't know. I mean, I am not a Washington creature. I've become much more active in the last few years, so I don't feel like this is my expertise. But possible, I certainly think yes. And I think that it's a smart position for, even because it became partisan, for the Democrats to realize this was a losing issue for them in the last election.
Yes.
And if I were them, I'd want to take it off the table so that it's no longer an issue, and there's other issues that they can campaign on. Again, I'm intentionally trying not to be partisan, but crypto did become partisan, I think, led by Senator Warren, led by Gary Gensler. And I tweeted out when that was happening that the Dems were going to let off a cliff, and I think that's what happened. And I think the reason why it still may get done this year is because I think there are a lot of leaders that are on the D side who realize that technologies should not be partisan. How technologies are used can be partisan and people can judge, but it's almost like saying, the Dems are pro-email and the Republicans are anti-email. Huh? It just doesn't make sense. Technology should be regulated at their outcomes.
I think the announcement you made that what caused it to be startled a little bit and then delighted was the Hidden Road acquisition, because it sort of shifted, that's a new limb, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Moving directly into the markets and interacting with traders and institutional traders and touching the fast money a little bit more.
Yeah.
You've since rebranded that to Ripple Prime. It's the first kind of crypto-native prime brokerage that really has a substantial capital base under it, which has been the hamstring of other crypto-native prime brokers. So how central or peripheral is that strategy? Obviously, it leans in with collateralization and payments and things, but this is a trading play.
It is, but it's also a play of bringing the slow money in. If you want the Citadels and the Fortresses to be in this market, they need a counterparty that has the capital and has the balance sheet to support them as a counterparty. And so, I think if we as in the overall industry want to continue to see the industry grow, and obviously Ripple's particularly focused on the XRP ecosystem, but we want all of crypto to do well. And so I think by having Hidden Road, now Ripple Prime, with a much stronger balance sheet, the ability to increase the types of counterparties they're aligning with and the amount of activity. I mean, we've already seen that since the acquisition, their revenue run rate has tripled. And that's obviously great for us, but it's also great for the industry.
Right. No, that's undeniable. And then feeding in RLUSD and other tokenized products and just becoming a fan. So the wingspan of the company, just in the folks that we've talked to, has just really gotten super broad.
Yeah, I mean, the last year, I kind of made this comment as I kicked off my comments this morning. A year ago, sitting here right now, the SEC was still suing Ripple.
Right.
And it's amazing when I think we do, because crypto moves fast, you lose sight of the big picture and you kind of step out like how much has changed in the last year. We've made 2 major acquisitions in Hidden Road for $1.2 billion and G Treasury. We've made some smaller acquisitions, a really powerful one that has leadership around stablecoin payments called Rail. So we're obviously very pleased with the momentum, and capping that off almost as a cherry on top is the announcement today the $500 million coming in from some of these truly leading financial institutions that have been, I think, a little more cautious. They now have permission because of some of the regulatory clarity that has improved.
A real M&A spree over the past couple of years that includes licenses in multiple different jurisdictions. Talk to us a little bit about Ripple's growth plan. Is this going to continue as you build out your really financial services giant?
Yeah. I mean, we're going to continue to focus on being that kind of blockchain infrastructure play for the enterprise, for financial institutions. I think we will slow down on the M&A spree a little bit. We've acquired a bunch of things that we want to make sure we integrate. Although my corp dev team would argue that, I was going to say it's easy to sign a deal, it's harder to integrate the deal. Sometimes it's hard to sign the deal too. But right now we're going to focus on some amazing assets, some amazing leaders, and how do we bring those pieces together? We haven't talked today, but G Treasury, I mean, they are the corporate dashboard for over the CFO dashboards for over 1,000 different CFOs, managing literally trillions of dollars of payments, hundreds of billions of dollars of, what I'll call trapped capital kind of deposits, and the ability to put those, leveraging stablecoins, leveraging Ripple payments, not forcing it upon anyone, but giving them the option of using stablecoins for payments, holding stablecoins as those deposits to make them more